What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Neighbors Podcast. I am Mitchell, and this is the Pinwheel. Doug's with me again this week.
Yo, yo, yo.
So, another disappointing week for the Blazers. Sort of.
Sort of.
And it's like a weird week, I guess.
It is a bizarre week, that's for sure.
Started
off good.
Yeah, start off with Atlanta, get a win.
I mean, it wasn't a great win. They didn't really have all their players and took overtime.
They're missing one person, right? Who are they missing?
John Collins.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Because he was out for like weed or whatever the fuck it was.
I think it was PEDs, yeah.
Something like that, yeah. Some drug thing that he's not supposed to be taking.
Same with Ayton. What's up with these guys?
Well, Ayton was like a diuretic, so it was like, oh shit, I smoke weed, I got to get it out of my system.
Sure.
Or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. Something was in his system.
Yeah, that he didn't want. But it's like
I heard
weird.
It could have also been like a weight loss, like a...
Yeah. Who was telling me? I think it was Kalen was telling me that if they test in college, like for drugs or whatever, and you get caught for having like Adderall in your system, like you can get punished for that.
Yeah, I believe that.
But unless you have like a prescription for ADHD or whatever.
Right.
But
wasn't that like Richard Sherman?
Yeah, it was like, dude, I don't know, like.
I'm pretty sure he used to do Adderall and then he couldn't do it anymore. Something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps you focus. Taking it one time because I was like, dude, I might have ADHD. It's like, I might have a problem. Because I was like when I would sit at my desk, like this is literally what I'd do. I'd like open up a tab, Twitter. Open up, and then I get like bored with Twitter. Open up a tab, Facebook.
Right.
Then I open up another tab, fucking Twitter again. It's like, dude, what's wrong with me?
That's just the internet, man.
Yeah, it definitely is. And then I was like, maybe I do have it, and I took it, and it definitely helped. But I was like, yeah, I was like, no, it's just not something I want.
Yeah, it can zombify you, that's for sure.
Yeah, mine didn't do like it energized the shit out of me, but I took it at like 8 a.m. and I didn't go to bed until like 3.
That's crazy.
It just was, yeah, and I was like, I can't live like that.
Anyway.
Yeah, the Atlanta Hawks game, we win in OT, 113 to 124. Honestly, like, it was our game to kind of lose pretty much the entire time.
For sure.
And then in OT, we pulled away after a couple clutch shots from, like, Kent and CJ, yeah.
Yeah, it was good to see him kind of come alive. And Anthony's looking pretty good. He had 20 again that game.
And 8 for 12.
Yeah, he's on fire. He's been on fire. I mean,
he's played really well. I think he's only played like bad. It was like the most recent game that we had.
Sure.
I think he had like 5 points.
Yeah, I mean that's just going to come with
experience,
Dame had 9. Right? Exactly.
But Dame was due for a bad game. He'd been averaging.
Sure, but that was when you couldn't have a bad game, unfortunately. I mean,
against like
just if he had like 15 points, we probably
win the game. Yeah,
6 points in the third quarter. When they're making a run, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah,
maybe Carmelo will fix our.
Yeah, dude, what a crazy thing, man. What I think a lot of people were like, I think most people are unsure how that's going to be because he hasn't been in the league for a year.
Well, he hasn't been in the league for a year. His attitude was pretty poor when he was in Houston and OKC, really. I mean, New York, too. I mean, he's actually always had a poor attitude, I guess.
I feel like he did okay in Denver, though. And I think that... I mean,
but yeah, that's just because he was a superstar. And I don't know. Yeah, he didn't seem like such a head case, but
New York. Do you think that paired with, him. Like... Yeah, like him being a superstar, him playing well, his team playing well, Denver doing pretty good.
Sure.
To then going to New York, which since Carmelo had left to New York, it turned into a black abyss of just shit teams.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, hasn't been one good team since.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
not even with Carmelo.
Yeah,
really.
And they had Derrick Rose. Like, obviously not Derrick Rose in his prime, but Derrick. I mean, he's found his way back. They've had other people like join where you're like, oh, this team's actually like pretty solid, right, and then they just don't play well.
Yeah, I mean, even when they had Carmelo and Amari Stoudemire, they just couldn't figure it out. I mean, that could also go up to their ownership.
Yeah.
Dolan, he's not.
Dude, they're idiots. They never, they make no moves. They didn't get or trade for like anyone in the offseason. Who'd they get?
Well, they did. They got.
Where'd Julius Randle go? Did he go to New York?
He went to New York.
Yeah,
I think they got like Bobby Portis. They got a couple random guys, but no one that's going to move the scale. No one
Yeah,
no one that's bring anyone in.
Yeah, no one that's going to change for such a, because we always, for us as Blazer fans, we always get hit with we're a small market.
Yeah.
And you can't compete with New York, Boston, LA, because those are they're just bigger markets. But New York has constantly been terrible and in terms of just their win percentage.
For sure.
And people don't like being there.
Yeah.
Like on the team. Yeah.
But that's the crazy thing. Like you look at their fan base and they're still selling out games. They're still like, they suck if they go on like a little run. They're still like, the fans sound like they're about to win a championship. It's kind of crazy. And it's kind of weird that no one wants to go there. But then I don't know. I think it has to do with ownership.
Yeah. I think people have like heard enough and been a part of it enough to like not want to be there.
Right. I mean, even KD didn't want to go there.
Yeah. I mean, and he went to Brooklyn.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
Right next door.
Uh-huh. And Kyrie. Oh, man. What a slap in the face.
Damn it.
I know. Anyway. Yeah. I mean.
Yeah, I think.
Going back to Carmelo, I think he's definitely going to be out of shape. I mean, there's those workout videos of him in the gym alone. He definitely looks a little pudgy.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I don't think we got him for his defense, though. I think we got him
for of course not.
His shot creation. I think that's kind of or even just his spot-up shooting.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we got Tolliver for his defense.
Yeah.
I mean, he can play defense a little bit, but we got him for his shooting.
Yeah.
So if Carmelo can even just kind of fill that role and hit three-pointers a night, that'll be huge.
Oh, I mean,
Tolliver's just
he hasn't bricking. He is bricking, but from when we had talked about him like week 1, he had gotten a little bit better on his defensive side,
right? And
then he had like 1 or 2 games where he started making shots. I just think right now we have a lot of like inconsistencies, and that could be with nerves from being on a brand new team, for whatever. But I feel like with however many games down we are, 11, I think. Those things should have kind of settled.
Yeah.
You've had that time. You've had a month almost
right.
to relax. I don't know. And you have like Dame and CJ who throughout the league have been known as great leaders. And that's what I'm kind of hoping for, because we haven't seen like basket case, head case Whiteside.
Sure.
He's played well. He's done what he can. The only problem I think you and I both have is sometimes he takes defensive possessions off.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I think it's too early to tell because of the sample size, but it might be the same way with Carmelo. Plus, maybe a reality check of Carmelo not playing last year will be like, hey, maybe I need to be more of a team person. And I think when you go from Denver being the superstar to New York being ass, and then being kind of promised and or like not necessarily tricked, but for lack of a better term, tricked that Houston and OKC might be the promised land, and you guys still suck ass.
Right. Yeah.
Probably not about it, Plus,
hopefully it'll be like a Dwight Howard situation where finally he's like, okay, I have my role. I just need to
fill it and play it and be okay with that.
Yeah,
I don't need to do more. The one thing,
that should be interesting. I mean, seeing him, how is he going to be off ball? I guess.
Yeah. Well, the one thing about Carmelo too that didn't pair well with Houston was how much of a 3-point shooting team they were. And Carmelo wasn't like a huge 3-point shooter. He was like a back it down, over the shoulder, mid-range jumper. And that was something that Kevin McHale did not want to do at all.
Sure. That might be good for Portland because that's pretty much all we do. I mean, we work it inside out. We do those mid-range until we get comfortable, and then
yeah.
I mean, we have our shooters.
We shoot threes, yeah, for sure. But, I mean, CJ, Dame, Anthony.
Usually
Ken,
teams don't like teams shooting mid-range because it's one of the worst shots.
Yeah, exactly.
Analytically.
Yeah, analytically because of the amount you take. But if you go like, I don't know.
I know. We might as well just try to trade for DeMar DeRozan too. I don't think he shot a 3 since like last year or something like that.
I think he made 1 against us last time. Okay. And it was like, what the fuck?
What the fuck is going on?
He shot 10 threes since 2004. Yeah, he doesn't shoot a lot. They drive. That was like the kicker on that game because we're playing them tonight. Or, Saturday night when you guys will listen to this. And the game will already be over. Mm-hmm. But we play them tonight, and we have to stop penetration. That's how they play.
Right.
And then it's, Lamarcus, and he just backs down and over the shoulder again.
Yeah,
like very similar to kind of
That's what makes him pretty good, though. I mean,
yeah, he's still a big who plays big.
Absolutely.
Doesn't happen a lot anymore.
No, that's
So we were kind of talking about it before, in terms of like how you change up rotations and do stuff. We saw Nazir Little get a start.
I love it.
Cool, right? I think that's cool. I think it's smart of Terry to go, okay, something's not working. What's the worst case scenario? And again, like even though we're losing games, we've not lost by an excessive amount of points. It's just been all of them. We've stayed in it, but they've been really frustrating to watch because you're like, dude, if you just clean this up, if you have 5 less turnovers and you make 3 more shots, that's a 13-point swing or a 16-point swing, really.
Yeah. And the defense. I mean,
well, yeah.
Zach going out. I mean, it kind of just showed how big of a piece he was.
Yeah, I think it's a bummer for him. And man,
I mean, he's just such a big piece, and it just shows on the defensive end like how big he was because he can close out on 3-point shooters pretty well, but he can also
block shots.
He changes shots at the rim is what he does.
Yeah, I remember talking
whereas
about
Whiteside kind of keeps his hands down sometimes, and every time he doesn't affect the shot, whereas Zach Collins, his hands are always up, and he will always try to affect the shot.
Yeah, I remember talking about Zach and comparing him to kind of what was it, Joel Freeland?
Sure.
Because that was
Joel Przybilla.
Yeah, that was something that both those guys did, was like they just kept their hands up.
Yeah. They're just tough guys, like guys that aren't afraid to, hit you in the chest.
Yeah,
talk
exactly.
Some shit.
Yeah.
Just the energy, I think, is what we're missing too. Zach brought a certain energy to the team.
You need someone to talk shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think Nazir doesn't talk shit, I don't think. But he brings that. I know, but he brings that energy that we need.
What they used to call it, the X factor?
Yeah, he just he flies around. He was diving on the floor. Like we need that as a team.
Yeah,
especially with a bunch of older guys. I mean,
yeah, because once one guy does it, everyone starts to do it.
Yeah, I mean that's how Kent Bazemore should be playing, and he kind of seems like has his head down a little bit because he's struggling a little bit. And
Mario too,
and hopefully, I mean. I don't know if Carmelo's going to fix that, the energy-wise, but I think we need a spark somewhere that's going to fuel these guys, and I think Nazir kind of getting in it. He's the young guy, unexperienced, unproven, and he's the one that's going to go out there and, fight. I don't know. I think it's good. I don't know. Stotts is a little reluctant to play as younger guys. Like when Nazir was killing, when he was bringing that energy, he took him out in the 4th and didn't play him the whole 4th.
Yeah.
And it's like, at some point you got to swallow your pride and just say fuck it and throw him out there.
You got to ride who's going with you right now.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think Stotts isn't great at doing that. Like sometimes he'll take Anthony out when Anthony's going off, and it's like, you know what, just ride him a little bit more. Put him in an extra 2-3 minutes. You never know if he's going to hit, another 2 big threes, But I think that's something even he's still learning too. I mean, it's a learning process, and
for sure it is. Yeah,
especially with a new team. I mean, there's probably so many pieces in his head that are going on. He's like, it's just tough. I mean,
yeah, he's got to figure it out. Plus,
I love Stotts.
Yeah, it's like you wipe the team basically, and you go, okay, this is gonna look real bad.
Right.
On us if we don't have some sort of winning record. And the thing that I really enjoy about the Carmelo pickup is that they're doing something. They're attempting something to not lose out on a year of Dame's prime.
Right.
And CJ's.
And I mean, I think this move was to appease Dame. He's been pretty vocal. I mean, he's been vocal in the past about wanting Carmelo.
Yeah.
I mean, for some reason. So I think it was a move to appease Dame. But at the same time, I think it's a win-win situation. I mean, we're sucking anyway.
Yep.
He comes in. If he sucks, I mean, oh well, we suck anyway,
Yeah, we drop him.
We tank. Yeah, we drop him and we tank, I guess.
Yeah, we have until January 7th to drop before the money is guaranteed.
Right.
Because it's a 1-year contract, non-guaranteed, so he's got a month. And I read mixed reports that some of it is like he'll make $14,000 between now and then if he's dropped by that time. Or he'll make $14,000 a day.
I heard it was something like that. Like it was
per day.
Yeah, I think it was like, I think it's a $4.9 million contract, and it's like $51,000 per day.
Oh, okay.
Is what it is unless he gets cut or whatever. It's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
But
My thing though for getting Carmelo for $5 million, that's not that bad.
Oh no, that's like like I was saying, if he sucks, we suck. Oh well. But if he somehow turns into the old Carmelo Anthony and starts killing it again, and we start winning, it's a win-win situation.
Yeah. I think the thing that will be the biggest factor or what will show us what Carmelo will bring is how he reacts to like it being Dame's team, CJ's team.
Sure.
And if he's cool with falling into a role like Dwight, because Dwight did do that where he bounced from Orlando to like all over the place, Hawks, LA, to the Hornets, everywhere. And he was trying to
be that.
He was trying to be like the superstar when they just needed him to be like a big guy who blocked shots.
Right.
We didn't need him to be what Orlando needed him to be. We know you're capable of that, but that's not what we need. So just do what we need to win. And I think. Do you think that that's something that has affected the NBA in terms of like these big superstar teams where you feel like you have to like outshine everybody, where winning the championship isn't as big of a deal than like the glamorous of you being with Steph Curry and KD and all these different people?
Yeah, I still think rings are king. I mean, everyone's arguments about greatness goes back to rings.
But I wonder what the mental state of him being like, well, look at what Golden State's doing over there. They have 5 All-Stars on that team in order for the league.
Dwight specifically?
Dwight specifically, but anybody who's alone or feeling like they were a superstar. Because
I think they're doing this because they, especially now that the Warriors have disbanded, I think that especially this year that they feel, shit, we could win this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of my point, right? Is when you're the Charlotte Hornets or even like New York, and you know that you're kind of on the, you might not say it, but you know it. You know what I mean? Yeah, like they don't go, oh, we're the worst team in the NBA. They go, but they are, and they know it. Right. So like in their head, they go, okay, we have no chance of winning the championship. Sure. We're playing against Golden State, who literally starts 5 All-Stars and has an All-Star sitting on their bench waiting to come in. We just got to – I'm going to get my buckets. I'm going to do what I got to do. So in that case, Dwight was on the highest totem pole when that wasn't around, when it was like the super teams weren't really there. Sure. And as soon as super teams formed in Miami and Golden State and a couple other places, it was like
Dwight
he kind of bounced around and didn't know what to do.
That's fair. Yeah.
And I think a lot of players that happened to.
Yeah.
Where they just kind of fell into obscurity.
Sure.
And you're like, dude, where the fuck is this dude?
Yeah.
Like I for a while, I didn't even know Dwight was in the league.
Sure.
Didn't even know.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I guess it's something.
I mean, Jamal Crawford's not even in the league either. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Is he retired now?
And I mean, he's still playing places. Like,
it's crazy
so
that
weird.
Vince is still in the league.
Yeah.
Dude's 42.
Yeah.
That's insane. I mean,
how's his body held up this whole time?
That's
the weirder part for me. Yeah.
He takes really good care of his body too, though. He's kind of like stuff? LeBron. Yeah, he's very.
Well, LeBron puts how many
I mean, he's not LeBron because, $2 million or something, $1.5 to $2 million into his body. That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it's
running it.
It's impressive. I mean, just even Tom Brady. How was he in the NFL at 42?
Yeah, and killing it.
Still.
It's frustrating.
It's very frustrating.
When you're like, what the fuck?
Be done already, man.
Yeah.
Shit.
Well, I was talking with Ray about this. I was saying what we could do, because when you look at plus minus and you look at stats with playing with certain players, you see that Dame has played better when Anthony's been in.
Yeah.
So you're not going to put Damian on the bench and have him come off and not be a starter, but you could potentially do that with CJ.
Sure.
Because we've all talked about how CJ is a great player, but he feels more like a second, the first option for the second team.
Right. Yeah.
Rather than the second option for the first team. Not because he couldn't be that person, but just because his mold fits that position better, like a Lou Williams.
Yeah, I think he's meant to be a first option on the first squad for somewhere else.
Yes.
Probably not a great team, because that's just how he's played basketball at Lehigh. That's what he had to be. He had to be the guy.
Yeah, that's fair.
Even coming up in the league, he's made his role by dribbling and getting those tough shots, being that guy. So, It's tough. I don't think, because I think he's too good to come off the bench.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to.
But do you think Lou Williams is too good to come off the bench?
No, because at least CJ can. I trash CJ's defense, but he can at least kind of keep up, and he's such a good scorer. Whereas Lou Williams, he's a walking bucket, but he's a little more inconsistent. I mean, I can't say that this year.
Yeah.
But his defense, Lou Williams' defense, is one of the worst.
Yeah.
In the league.
Well, so this is what I had talk with Ray about. I said we start Dame, Anthony, Rodney.
You know what? I don't.
Nazir, and then
maybe not even Rodney.
Whiteside.
Yeah, I guess we kind of have to have a 4.
Yeah, and then Nazir, and then
did it again. Broke the chair.
grab that stool right there.
No, we're all good.
That's hilarious.
It's gonna be doing squats the rest of the day.
And then have CJ and Carmelo come off the bench with like Kent, and those guys. Because if you can,
is that where did Nazir start at the 4?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I kind of like that. Nazir's a little small though.
He's a little small, but I guess like you're probably not gonna start Carmelo right away.
Right.
And that would give like the second unit when the first unit comes out a big break.
Sure.
Because CJ can come in and then run and do his thing.
Yeah.
Where you know how like when you're playing in a basketball game and it could be a rec or it could just be a pickup game, and you play with somebody who you know is like a baller, but all they do is just shoot. Sure. It's one dribble, shoot, one pass, they get the ball back, they shoot it. But then when they get into a game that's like officiated, sometimes they're a little bit better about like passing or doing things. I feel like that's kind of how CJ is with the first team, where it's like he kind of gets his, but like if he was allowed to run his own thing, it might be more of a facilitating, maybe a little bit less of a dribble because he had to be in that role.
Sure.
Rather than Dame's going to do that part of it. So if I get it, I have to shoot it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes too much sense, but that's just kind of my feeling around it.
Sure.
And because we're not playing well, we're 4-7.
Right. 4-8.
4-8. Yeah, 4-8 now. What's the harm of trying something other than maybe bruising someone's ego?
Yeah, I mean, I like that. I agree 100%. Maybe bring him off, the bench, but his ego would be the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I think Anthony works well with Dame because Dame can facilitate and dribble the ball. He needs to dribble the ball, obviously. He needs the ball in his hands. But when Anthony is in the game, Anthony is good at, he doesn't dribble around a lot. You know, he will make his decision quick. He'll either shoot it, he'll make one dribble, get into the lane, pull up, or go to the basket.
Yeah.
Whereas CJ, he'll dribble in the lane, get it to the mid-range, dribble back to the right hand, and then shoot it tough. So I think that's why Ant works really well with Dame, is because he's decisive, makes his one move, and, it's quick.
Yeah.
So, maybe bringing CJ off the bench where he can facilitate and dribble the ball up every single time and have the ball in his hands to be effective. I think that will. And
to where he, like, in his head, it goes, you're running the offense instead of you're running, like, you're part of it where Dame, because
that also goes back to rotations. I think Stotts has kind of ran a CJ Lillard together too much, whereas last year it kind of seems like he staggered. He played Damian a lot in the first, and kind of like he would take CJ out
about 7
a little earlier, but then he'd bring CJ back in when Dame was out, and then CJ would run the offense. And I haven't seen that a lot this year.
So maybe we just go to that because that's less of a drastic change,
right? And then it gives Dame, I think it goes to he's been playing Dame like 40 minutes a game.
Same with Siege.
Same with Siege. So they haven't really, gotten that time. So I think with Ant, CJ maybe needs to come out a little earlier and put Anthony in, and then CJ comes back and for Damian.
Yeah, and I think that might go.
Anthony still in the game. I mean,
yeah, I think that might even go back to trust because it's such a new crew. He doesn't know who he can trust, and if he goes, okay, I know for a fact I can trust Damian and I can trust CJ because I've had them on the squad. Right. I know what they're capable of. And I think when you do know, even when, because, you see it like when Damian talks about it, when CJ talks about it, when Stotts talks about it, and obviously they kind of have to say stuff like this, but I believe them when they say like, oh, we're not worried about it. Right. Like we're fine. things always turn around or whatnot. Unless you're the New York Knicks. So I think it's one of those things where it's like, if we were on that team, or like even with our high school team, like if one of us had a streaky night, or if like you and Ryan had a streaky, I wouldn't expect that the next game. Sure. Like he just had a bad game. That stuff happens. Absolutely. From a fan point, we go, you guys are fucking pros.
Yeah, right.
Get your shit together and stop that. Yeah. But like, I kind of like tried to look at it where Damian's averaging, 30-something points a game. He hasn't turned the ball over a lot. He's had a high shooting percentage on, except for maybe his threes are a little bit lower than they have been before, but his field goal percentage overall and his free throw percentage is fine. You can't really knock Damian for anything.
Yeah, no, you can't. I mean, going back to, what they're saying, CJ, he's struggling, obviously. But even he was positive about his outlook on the season, and he said he believes in the laws of averages. Yeah. And he believes that the work he put in the offseason, that it will balance itself out in the end. So I kind of believe it. We've seen in the past that he has started slow. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's a little different this year because we are losing now. Yeah. But I think
and it gets highlighted.
And it gets highlighted, yes.
Not only because of the beginning of the season, but because other people are injured. Right. So then you go, you have to be there every night, because if you're not, we're fucked. Pressure. And we are fucked. So adds to the
definitely
pressure.
Adds to the pressure.
Yeah.
I think he'll be fine. He'll figure it out eventually, obviously. But
how do you think it will affect the locker room for Dame and for CJ? Because both of them were very vocal early on, not this season, but previous seasons, about getting Carmelo, about like recruiting him, trying to get him to come here and doing those things. And do you think that they go fucking finally? Like we finally had him, because CJ had posted a photo on his Instagram of like Carmelo in a Blazer jersey. Yeah. And then Dame had talked about it a bunch, but Damian went on Joe Budden's podcast. It's like, he's not fucking coming here. Like, we've tried 2 seasons. He's not coming.
I'm surprised they didn't pick him up last year. Even if we, picked him up late in the season and for that playoff run, we just had him on the bench coming in barely. He'd be helpful even against the Warriors. Maybe we win a game.
Maybe they looked. Yeah. Maybe they looked at him and he was just fucking fat as fuck. I asked somebody that, and you kind of had mentioned it, where he had, the solo videos, and he looked a little chubby.
He does, and he's not really doing much in the videos. Like, he's walking. It's like, I want to see some high intensity workout videos. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I'm always obviously pessimistic about it. I think he will be out of shape.
I think he'll be out of shape. But I think it's really hard to train for basketball shape. You kind of have to play.
Definitely. But he's such a talent that...
He's traveling with the team, so he'll be there tonight, but he won't play, I don't believe. I believe the first game will be against Tuesday, which is a little bit of a bummer, because if he could have played the game before that on Sunday or Monday, I think it was Monday. Right. No, it is tomorrow, Sunday, against Houston. Yeah, that would have been fun. Yeah, but he has to like pass a physical or some shit.
Yeah, I like it. Who knows? Maybe it even just having Carmelo on the team just boosts morale and boosts confidence.
Yeah, like
the
players, like, oh shit,
we got Carmelo. Yeah, maybe it just boosts spirits, and then we'll play a little bit harder, because I think that's what it is. We're not finishing these games because it doesn't seem like we want it. Maybe. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling. It doesn't seem like we really want it.
Yeah, what was it? We were playing against Brooklyn last year when Nurkic broke his leg. Yeah. That was a game where I felt like we really wanted to win.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And, like, you could tell, like, we were all about it.
Felt like a playoff game.
Yeah, and then...
That's why you can't get mad that Nurkic is playing. People are like, oh, why are you playing Nurkic in double overtime in a regular season?
Oh, that's ridiculous. It's like,
what are you talking about, man? We're trying to win a game.
If any of those guys who said that had the talent that Nurkic did and were on that team, they would not let the coaches not let them play.
Exactly.
You would be in. Any person who's ever been a competitor, if you're not in at the end of the game, even if you realize why you're not in, you want to be in.
That's even with the KD thing. That goes back to the KD thing.
Well,
it's like, did they mishandle it? Sure, but KD has the say if he's going to play or not. That's him being a competitor.
Yeah.
He's the one who makes that decision.
I think that part is so tough. Like, yeah, like if a doctor says, you're probably okay. Like, right. You could do it, but like, we don't. That's such a hard position to be in as a player. And if I'm a physician, every time I say no.
Sure.
because I'm backing myself up first, right? Like we talked about it.
Don't
for the
recommend it. But,
yeah, exactly. We don't recommend you doing this, but you could physically play.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, for me, for the KD thing, it was like the first injury that he had, I was like, oh, that's an Achilles injury. Like that looks exactly like all the other ones that we've seen. And they're like, no, a calf thing. It's like, okay, we don't believe you, but fine. And then when he was playing, I was like, dude, this guy is going to get hurt.
That's kind of, yeah.
And then you watched his calf and Achilles like explode.
Yeah, it's gross.
And it was like, dude, why? How did we let this happen? And then it's exactly that. It's the doctors were like, we don't recommend you playing, but you can probably get by. And he said, well, I want to win the fucking ship. So he played. And I mean, he's not like suing them. No. So he knows that they didn't do anything wrong.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I think that's really tough. But even like our senior year, I had pulled my groin, and so I had to like stay out games. And before games started, I had to go down to the locker room early, do like a heating pad, get on the bike, do all this shit. But like I would have fought tooth and nail if they told me I couldn't play. Right. Like there was like one game I sat out, and from that point, I couldn't sit on the bench anymore. Like it's just not fun. Yep. Because even if you have a jersey on and you're not playing, like if you're the 9th option on the team, at least you know you have there's a chance to get in. If you're in street clothes, you're fucked. You're not playing.
Right.
And no one wants that.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm really interested into seeing like when and if we're actually going to see Powell play.
Yeah, that's tough. I have some strong feelings about that, but
let's hear.
I'm trying to be positive about it, but I just feel like he's wasting a roster space at this point, you know? Why not have a guy like Joakim Noah that can actually play basketball?
Yeah. So what's holding Powell back? Is his foot? It's his ankle?
I guess it's his foot. Old age. It's just old.
Yeah, maybe. This is how I feel about it.
Senile, maybe. I don't know.
This is how I feel about. This is how I feel about Pau Gasol. Is that we picked him up most likely for our bigs, like for Zach Collins and younger guys, Nazir and those guys. Well, now that Zach's out, and I feel like he was the first option of why we grabbed Powell. Absolutely. Now that Zach's out, we don't really need somebody who, we don't need another big injured guy.
Right.
We need somebody who can play, especially given our record. So like you said, it's like, well, maybe we just fucking waive you and we pick up Noah or we pick up somebody.
I mean, it's kind of how it feels. Just, we lack depth, especially with
at that
big
position.
Guys. Yeah, I mean, at some point we just need a body that can play. Give a break to some of these players. We have Whiteside and Scal as our 2 big guys.
Yeah,
that's not going to get it done.
Yeah,
especially when they're playing big minutes. They're just one gets into foul trouble, then we have to rely on Scal. That's just not going to.
Yeah, and then if he gets into foul trouble, then we rely on Tolver to be our 5.
Yeah, and it's just
doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
Yeah.
Or Mario,
who's been playing real bad too.
And that's unfortunate because I think with injuries he's been kind of relegated to play the 4 in bigger positions where
he kind of gets fucked.
Yeah, and it's because he's the next tallest guy on our team.
Yeah.
And whereas he was supposed to be like an Evan Turner, like a 3 guard that can bring the ball up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think he's kind of in a tough position, but he's staying positive, at least a little bit. Like when I saw him tweet about Carmelo.
Yeah.
He was super excited about that. So I like Mario. I
like him too. I just think he's been struggling.
He's struggling a lot, but he works hard. He's not a great defender either.
Yeah. This year, who's your biggest surprises? Not for the Blazers specifically, or for the Blazers, but just overall in terms of teams or other players that have been playing really well. For me, it's obviously Phoenix.
Phoenix, oh my gosh.
Miami.
Yeah, Miami's playing really well. Tyler Hero. He's a
man, yeah.
He's a baller.
Yeah.
He's just a natural scorer. I watched high school videos of him and he just talks shit. I kind of love it.
Yeah. He's playing really, really well. And then you have Phoenix, Jimmy Butler who's playing well.
But that's the thing. I think Phoenix is just, they finally got their point guard and they finally just have a little bit of depth. Like they got Saric and Aaron Baines is a huge addition. I mean, Kaminsky, they just have solid depth. Like even if Blazers just had 4 big guys that they could throw out there, it just helps so much. Like, they don't even have to be good. Like Kaminsky, he's okay. But
I think the biggest part about of Phoenix playing really well is finally it's not up to Devin Booker to shoot all the shots, dribble all the dribbles, and get all the assists. Like you have Rubio now who can facilitate it and have Devin Booker play the 2 guard, in which is his natural position.
Absolutely.
And you've seen him play really well. I mean, they're 7-4, and like they're 5th right now. We actually might see Phoenix, and I mean it's obviously 11 games deep into the season, but technically, I mean they're ahead of the Clippers.
Yeah. Wow.
What do you think? Okay, so this is something that I found. We talked about load management. We talked about this before, but I've read more things about people. Like, for example, Kobe Bryant said, we're paid and our job is to compete for 82 games. Sure. That's why that's what we do. So
yeah, but that is also coming from Kobe, who has the craziest work ethic.
Sure.
Psychopathic work ethic.
But let's look at it from from just like our work standards, right?
For sure.
If we were like, oh, we're going to miss every other Friday for the whole year, they'd be like, you're fired.
Sure.
Like you're out of here. Which isn't obviously a perfect or fair example, but there are times where it's like you can see that the Clippers like hurt on the back-to-back games because those are like all 5 games that they've lost is when Kawhi's like sitting out.
Yes, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about because I don't think players should sit. But I do think you need to load manage a little bit because look at Damian.
Sure. I
mean, just on that back-to-back, I think he struggled because he's just
tired,
exhausted.
And I agree with you, but why do they need a load? Why do they need to say he's out for the game? Why doesn't he just play a quarter?
Sure. I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like, why does it have to be so drastic that they're sitting him? And there's no way that Kristaps Porzingis, Kawhi Leonard, and there's like a handful of other people who are sitting out for like, and they're no longer calling it load management. They're calling it injury management or injury maintenance.
Kristaps, I could see, with coming off an ACL, if you're playing, your knee can get pretty sore. I
guess that's fair.
That.
We're not them, and I'm not 7 feet tall with a torn ACL. That's fair.
Especially tearing my ACL, I know some days my knee can feel like shit.
Yeah.
Whereas Kawhi, I don't know.
I feel like Kawhi's injured happened so long
ago. Maybe it's arthritis.
Yeah.
Like I said, the Todd Gurley kind of situation
he's
where he's a great
that bitch and get going. I don't know.
Sure, but I get Kobe's what he's saying. He's a fierce competitor, but
Michael Jordan said the same thing. We pay you for 82 games.
Yeah, sure. They are the 2 most fierce competitors we've ever had. But at the same time, you're also paying them millions of dollars. If they go down with a season-long injury, then you're paying them for nothing at all.
So do you think that speaks to their competitive nature? Like, do you think it's, wow, they're not competitive, or what?
I don't.
Or as competitive, or do you go, oh, wow, they're so competitive that they're willing to lose games so that they can win games later? I don't know. Like, for me as a person, I would not want to sit out. Like, I just wouldn't want to. But I'm also not trying to win a national fucking championship for, the NBA. Right. You know what I mean?
That's so tough because, I don't know, when I watch Kawhi, every time he plays, it feels like, he gives effort.
Yeah,
he plays his defense. Which a lot of superstars don't do that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think he is but it's hard to tell with Kawhi because he's so weird, robotic, and he's so weird. And so, Kawhi's not a great person to look at for that because he's
I just
a human being.
For me as a fan, it would bug me if I bought tickets
for sure
early on when they were released to then realize that they're not playing.
Yeah, that's the
I think that's a fucked up scenario for the NBA.
Well, yeah, it is, especially because who are these people? Who are these players playing for?
Yeah,
obviously they're playing because they love the game, but you have to have people that watch the game to make money. And
especially the money that they make. Look at the WNBA. It's why they don't make as much money,
right?
Because not very many people are in the stands.
Exactly.
It's a perfect crossover to look at and go. I think the highest paid WNBA player is like $80K.
Yeah,
It's not a lot, but that's partly because their jerseys don't sell. They're not getting shoe deals.
Exactly.
That people aren't watching them play. I mean, it's just.
I mean, I'd be
that's
pissed
part
if
of
I
it.
bought a Kawhi Leonard jersey and I wore it to the Clippers game that I spent hundreds of dollars on the tickets.
Yeah, I
plus
mean,
the jersey.
Yeah,
and then he doesn't even play.
Well, like you can get some things as a fan. I mean, and I get it too, from a basketball standpoint, and just from injuries and all the things. Like I can get it, but it's one of those things where it's like it just makes me feel uncomfortable for whatever reason. Where I'm like, that doesn't seem right.
Sure.
Because like if you bought a ticket, so for example, going to a Blazer game at the Moda Center playing against LA, a 300 level ticket's going to cost you like $200.
Yeah, they're expensive.
Which is insane. And if you bought that ticket going, all right, I can eat the price because LeBron and Anthony Davis, they're going to be playing.
Sure.
And then a week before you went, they were like, actually, it's a back-to-back for the Lakers. They're nursing an injury. They're not playing.
Yeah, I'd be pissed.
Wouldn't you be like, I want my fucking money back?
I would, yeah.
Because now that game is no longer worth $200 for that 300 level seat.
I mean, yeah, there's games you scout out and you're like, oh, I want to go to the Celtics because I am
Or
a
is that
fan of
just
Jason Tatum.
Yeah, or is that just something that you have to be willing to, like, that's just part of it?
That's not what it used to be like. I mean, I remember going back to, I was in the 300 level. We went to like a Miami Heat game. And LeBron and Dwayne Wade were playing, but I'll always remember them playing. Like, they, and if they didn't, I probably would have had a shit time. And it would have been like, why am I paying a lot of money to watch Shane Battier?
Yeah.
And Norris Cole or whoever it was.
Yeah.
So I do get it. I do think there should be some kind of load management, but like, I mean, Kawhi's missed how many games already?
Yeah, like 5.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. That is a little excessive.
It's like half the season.
Yeah.
So
I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
Maybe once every month or
that's my thing.
It's
like, why does it need to be as drastic as resting a whole game?
Or just rest against the shit teams.
Yeah,
where tickets are like $10.
Yeah, or like if you're playing against, so if you're out the Clippers and you're playing against New York,
right?
Start the first quarter.
Sure.
And then don't play the rest of the game.
Exactly. At least show yourself a little.
Show yourself. Allow it for the people who paid for the money, to go see you play. Allow them to watch you play for 8 to 10 minutes.
Right.
And then that just is what it is.
Yeah.
Because that's at least better than where it's at.
Yeah.
So like like I don't understand why it needs to be a whole game. What's that one day? I don't know. I don't know because I'm not a doctor.
Sure.
I'm not a physical therapist. I'm not his leg.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it feels. But just from a fan standpoint, you're like, dude, I would be furious. I mean, because sometimes, and we're talking about,
these guys travel.
We're talking about 300 level seats being $200. We're not even talking about people who bought, spent their fucking load.
Yeah.
On like 100 level seats so they could be close.
Sure.
And now they're not playing. It's like, do you think the NBA and or the team, like the Moda Center, Staples Center, wherever, should be liable for things like that in terms of having to repay?
I mean, no, you can't do that, especially if it's an away player.
Or do you think that what they should do then is have they
have no control of.
Or do you think? Yeah, that's fair.
Leonard
well, do you think that the NBA then, to negate anger from this, is to release the schedule to the teams, and the teams have to put in when their players are going to be load managed, so that when you see the release of the schedule before you buy season tickets, before you buy games, that they're not going to be there?
Yeah, that would be nice, but you also can't, someone could roll their ankle,
No. You just go, hey, these players are going to be rested those nights.
Right.
Barring, obviously, asterisks, barring other injuries, these players are or will not be playing,
See, that's the thing
There's no preconceived thing.
That's another thing about load management. Another argument against it is there's no guaranteeing if these guys are not going to get injured. You could load manage them, and he could go out and blow his knee out. And,
yeah, that's fair.
You know what I mean? And then
you could have sat him on the back-to-back against us, and then he play against the Suns, and his knee explodes.
Exactly.
And then so you did it for no reason.
So then it goes back to Kobe's point, like, you're getting paid to do this. Go out and be a competitor, play basketball. I mean, you're getting paid millions of dollars to play a game.
Do you think that that's something, too, that, like, is a little bit of that superstar celebrity status? Like, I can sit out because I make $120 million this year, where it's like, you're like, well, but you get to play basketball.
Right.
Like, you're a superstar, but, like, and I'm not knocking basketball for any means, but people always say that it's like, well, you're not working construction.
Exactly.
You're not sitting in an office. You get to play the game that you love because you're amazing at it, and people are willing to spend that money. But like, you're getting paid that because people are willing to spend that money to get you there. And it's like, to kind of like, I don't know. It's just such an awkward, weird thing. And I think it's been happening a while, but because it's been made so public and so like well received in a way where like people don't have a problem saying it. They're like, oh, I'm sitting out because load management.
Right.
Where before it was like Popovich was like, no, yeah, he rolled his ankle in practice, and you just believed that lie.
Sure. I don't even think Popovich lied about it.
I mean, he definitely like, I don't think he did, but I'm just saying like there were times where Popovich was known for load management his teams.
Oh yeah, he sat out like Tim Duncan. He sat out all the big three one time.
Yeah, and it's just like he didn't need to do that, and you know that. Yeah, it's just one of those things.
But I don't know. Can you really question that though? It's Popovich.
Yeah, I can.
It's like Belichick.
Conspiracy stuff. Belichick, yeah, cheater.
Call him Papa Cheater too?
Yeah, no. But did you see Austin Rivers trying to tee up his dad, and then his dad ended up getting fucking thrown out?
Did you see him?
Team up.
Did you see him afterwards?
No.
He's like, call me later. He's talking shit. I'd be pissed. Austin Rivers is going to get some spankings.
Yeah, he's not going to get any Christmas presents. Dude.
It really matters.
Yeah. I watched an interview with Doc, and he was like, yeah, he should have been doing that shit. Like, he was totally fine with it. Right. But, yeah, I'd be like, you motherfucker.
What happened to Doc's voice, man?
Dude, just some screaming all night. Dude, does he smoke, too? What's wrong with this guy?
What is wrong with him, man?
Yeah, I think he just screams too much.
I don't know what's going on.
He loses his voice every night they play.
Man, you need to chill. It's not good for your health, man.
Yeah, it can't be, right? So from what we know, Carmelo plays with us on Tuesday against New Orleans.
Yeah, can't be much worse. Lost to the Kings without Hield shooting terribly. Fox wasn't even in the game. Bagley wasn't even in the game. It was a rough one.
Yeah.
So we don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, the Kings are ahead of us right now.
Raptors, we were ahead, and kind of seems like we've been ahead in most of these games, and we just can't.
Well, that's the thing is like we haven't gotten blown out. There's been no game above 9 points, right? A 9-point loss. It's the highest, and that's. I think a lot of times too, like that could have been a 4-point game, but because of the last minute fouls where you foul people to try and get another possession or whatever, you miss a shot, have to foul again, and then it gets extended to 9.
Yeah. So
it's like sometimes like when you play a game, you're like, oh, we lost by 15, but it really was 4 minutes. Like with 4 minutes left, we were down by 2, and it just turned into a foul fest, and they made some shots and we didn't. Yeah. So it's like we haven't I think both of us have said while we watched like, wow, we're terrible, but then we've been very close, and to know that we've been close with a lot of our players down, basically Damian carrying the team.
Oh, yeah.
It's like it's a decent thing to know in the back of your head, like, oh, it's not that bad. But I will say this: Detroit is 4-9, so we might be able to snag that Blake Griffin too.
For cheap. Yeah, I don't know.
Dude, Dame, CJ, Carmelo, and Blake Griffin.
That'd be a meme squad for sure. I'm not sold on Blake Griffin, Kevin Love.
If Blake Griffin was healthy. Dude, he can dribble, he can shoot, he can jump.
Sure,
he's
but
athletic.
Then he's going to get hurt again.
No, I said if he was healthy.
Yeah, but he's been healthy. He's healthy right now. I'm sure he's going to get hurt again.
Yeah, but Anthony Davis and LeBron were injured. Anthony Davis gets injured every year. You would not take Anthony Davis.
It's fair. But I wouldn't also give up. Well, Anthony Davis I would give up a lot for, obviously. But I don't think.
And like the past 4 seasons, Anthony Davis has missed like 30 games each season.
Yeah, that's tough.
Which is why it's like,
I don't even think we need a crazy big move. I think we need someone like Robert Covington.
We need Blake Griffin, bro. I would love Blake. I just like him.
I like Blake too.
You know who's flown under the radar? And I mean, we kind of knew this was going to happen a little bit. Was like Denver. Like we haven't really heard much about Denver because they don't really make moves. They just play the game. They win games. Jokic made 2 back-to-back game winners.
Jokic is so good.
Yeah, he's just an animal. But like we haven't heard much about Denver or Utah really. They've kind of just been. I think like we've heard a little bit about Dallas because you hear a lot about.
Well, they're a big market.
Yeah, you hear a lot
Utah's
about Luka.
not. No one ever talks about Utah. They're kind of like Portland in a sense.
Yeah,
I mean, more people talk about Portland than Utah.
Yeah, then then Minnesota had conversations because of the Karl Anthony Towns and Embiid fight or scuffle.
I mean, you could see what's the Wolves' record right now.
7-5.
You can. That's Vanderpool right there.
Yeah,
I think you can see a difference even between our team.
Yeah,
I think he's a big reason why we're struggling. Letting him go.
Yeah, because he was our defensive guy, right?
Yeah, even letting Jake Layman go was big too.
Yeah,
we got rid of Jake Layman for nothing, which I think we did it as a service for him.
Yeah,
because he was going to get a bigger role with the Timberwolves, and apparently we weren't going to play him for whatever reason.
Which is so weird.
It's so weird. We could use him. We could use that right now. And it just doesn't make any sense.
I wonder why.
Play him at the 4.
Yeah, I wonder what it was about him because they're like early on in this season last year, he played minutes, minutes like a lot, and then he just dropped off. Do you think it's a confidence thing with Jake, or do you think it was a confidence thing with Terry to Jake?
I think it's Terry. Terry has weird rotations, and he obviously trusts certain guys.
Yeah.
Like I think he likes Rodney Hood a lot. He trusts Rodney Hood. He trusts CJ, and he trusts Dame. That's why he plays those 3 guys a lot when they're playing.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. I don't know. Sometimes it seems like he doesn't like to throw out a rotation just to see how it goes. You know?
I feel like he's getting a little bit better this season because he's back against the wall.
Has to,
so he has to. Do you think a bad season for the Blazers this year would mean a firing of Terry Stotts?
Ooh, it just depends on.
But I
don't know. It's kind of hard to blame him right now though, because we looked
3
fine
seasons
with
ago,
that.
we were 4, 2, and then the last 2 seasons we were 3. We make it to the Western Conference Finals last year. We do get swept, so I'll give people that. But at the same time, 3 of those 4 games we were up by 20 points. We should have won those fucking games.
Oh my god.
You know what I mean? Like, credit to the Warriors where credit is due, but like we were there.
Yeah.
So do you go, well, you wasted a year was wasted of Damian's prime. We just signed him to a supermax. We just extended CJ's. We've been paying a lot of players a lot of money, and we can't get it done.
About. Dame, I'm fine paying Dame. It's the CJ I'm worried about.
Yeah, it's just a lot of money. It's hard to then trade him if need be because then that team who's getting him has to like be able to take on that contract.
Yeah, and especially with the way things are going politically, you don't know. I'll say with China, you don't know if that money could be gone, and then our salary cap is shrinking, and then we're already paying these guys.
Yeah.
So I think I've seen it thrown around Reddit a lot, and maybe the NBA needs to change something with their supermax because it's obviously not working. Yeah. Guys are still going to these big markets, and I think, and a lot of people think that the supermax some of it should count towards the cap, but it shouldn't be crippling to sign your star player to a small franchise to a supermax. You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't cripple your team to do that.
It shouldn't.
So some of it should.
Yeah, it shouldn't cripple a small market team to be able to offer a big market price.
Yeah, for a
guy that like, because then it's like
he's
then
he's an all NBA talent.
Yeah, because then you'll really only see LA, Boston, those guys in the finals, and that's why.
So I think something has to be done with the supermax. That's just what because I think Dame should be getting paid a lot of money.
Yeah, me too.
But I also don't, because it's going to hurt our team later down the road because we're not going to be able.
That's how I feel about it too. It's like it's really hard for me to say Dame deserves it and he's earned it.
Absolutely.
But on the flip side of that, does it hurt his chances of winning a championship and getting what he really wants in the long run?
I think it might. And I think players should. I mean, do you think if you're offered that contract, you take that every single day. And I can't be mad at that.
100%. Exactly. But if you put ourselves in our own, like his shoes, and like, you want the supermax? We wouldn't be like, well, coach. Yeah. You'd be like, yeah, give me that fucking money. Right yeah. Do you think
you got to look at like guys like Dirk? Dirk was a lifer. He took pay cuts. Yeah. And he got his ship. He got. I don't know. And now he's going to be taken care of for the rest of his life. So maybe but that's also Mark Cuban.
But still,
you got to think Damian would be, if he took a pay cut, he'd be set for the rest of his life.
Yeah, I mean, well, and it's how many millions of dollars do you need to make to be set for the rest of your life? Right. I mean, Dame also outside of basketball, well, like
he has endorsements
outside of Hulu, Adidas, like he's making money.
Paid.
You know what I mean? So I always have that conversation when it comes to money. Like, if you look at a company like Amazon, and let's just say they make $10 billion, right? When they're everywhere, they're in every, country, they're able to ship and do all this stuff. If they go up to 12 billion the next year, how much does Amazon's life really change? Or like Jeff Bezos. So like when you look at Bill Gates and you go, oh, Bill Gates has $100 billion or whatever the fuck he has, just in obviously he doesn't have that much, but when you look at that and you go, okay, well, if he made 150, would his life change? Can't he already get everything his heart desires?
For sure.
Dude, he's like saved Africa.
Yeah.
Like he's done so much stuff over there. Like he owns countries pretty much. And then so I always just say like, okay, does a player like that, or do players need to make $200 million over 5 years or whatever the fuck his contract was? Yeah. Because he's already making money.
Oh yeah. It's tough.
If you had 1 year where you were paid $50 million, as long as you weren't a complete idiot, you would be set for life.
Right. Yeah. Crazy.
I mean, you could take 40 million of that and put it into something else, and you would still have $10 million.
Yeah, shit's insane.
Like, just don't.
I mean,
be
obviously
stupid.
they don't get that because there's taxes, there's their agents they have to pay,
and there's other stuff too.
Yeah, they probably don't get near as much as what we see. So I think it's.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. It's a fair thing to say.
But they are still getting paid all this money, and they do get. People are telling them, "Hey, put your money here. This is where we're going to make money." So they're getting their money back.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough. But Dame's such a good guy. They give their. Do they still do this where they give their playoff bonuses to like staff members or whatever?
They might. I don't know, but I mean that's a really nice thing to do. My thing is like it's just. I don't think he doesn't deserve it. I don't think he hasn't earned it. I don't think any of those things. I think. If you get offered that contract, like you're gonna take it. I get that. But in terms of the discussion or the argument is, did offering it to him cripple the Blazers and being able to make moves going forward?
Yeah.
And right now, time will tell, but it seems like it could very well be. But we have like the highest paid roster.
Yep.
And we're the fucking 13th team in the West.
Yeah, it's not. I mean,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's going to be okay because Nurkic is on such a great deal. Yeah. We're going to eventually have to pay Collins and Anthony. Yeah, we can pick up their rookie extensions. I think we already did.
Yeah.
But we got 2 expirings with Kent and Whiteside, which is going to be huge.
Which is also the reason why people have made the arguments to trade them.
Yeah,
is because they're expiring, so that teams don't have to take on that money for a long period of time.
And we could get something
out of
hopefully
it,
of return, but who's going to take Kent or Whiteside right now? I don't really know.
Whiteside's numbers aren't bad.
Whiteside's numbers are good.
Kent's are bad.
But yeah, Kent's are pretty bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I even think the Blazers will be okay, man.
I think they'll be okay. I think especially with
I don't know. I don't
so much uncertainty.
I don't even know what to think anymore. After the Carmelo signing, I'm just like, what is going on?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think I talked to people at work about it, a lot, and it was just the basic consensus was we're really not paying him all that much money, and it really can't get much worse. That's true. In terms of there's the Pelicans and Golden State, who are lower than us in the West.
Yikes.
And then
oh my gosh.
And then we're tied with Chicago. We're ahead of Detroit, Washington, and New York. So we're in the top
the bottom
7 teams right now in terms of record.
It's gross.
In terms of record. Exactly. And I mean the Pelicans don't have Zion. Yeah. They're going to get him back soon. It's been about I think 6 weeks. Yeah. So we should see him in the next 2 to 3, depending on how bad the injury actually was. And then we've given Golden State one of their 2 wins.
No words, man.
I mean, teams that we thought were going to be terrible, like Sacramento, OKC, they're ahead of us. That was
they weren't.
Yeah, but here's my question: if San Antonio dumps, do you think that they would be open to for us to get LaMarcus back?
Possibly.
Would you want LaMarcus back? Would that be somebody that you would be more interested in getting? I mean, if you could get...
He's pretty expensive right now, too.
Nurk, L.A., Carmelo, CJ, and Dame. That's a squad, dude.
Pretty old, though.
Yeah, that's a pretty old squad.
LaMarcus is old now.
Yeah, but he's still getting buckets.
He's getting buckets, but I don't know. He's expensive, too, though, still. I mean, he's his last year of his contract, I think.
Oh, yeah, pick him up for free agency then.
Yeah, next year, but he'll be another year older.
Yeah, I see that. But in terms of like people you want for a power forward or center, like that would be cool. It would be cool to see him come back.
For sure.
He hasn't been injured
either.
Yeah, he's not been injured. He's played well. Be cool to see him come back so we could actually retire his fucking jersey.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still on the Aaron Gordon.
I like him, but I don't think
he's a world beater, but
that's my question. Is do you think what do we have to give up to get Aaron Gordon? And how much do you think it increases our team?
I don't know. We're so thin at the 4 that I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's fair.
You know, I feel like Anthony could at least do what CJ does. Score 15 to 20 points a game.
That's
fair. And then,
fair.
if we had a guy like Aaron Gordon who could also give you 15, 20 at the 4 position and also kind of play some defense.
He can play defense. He's athletic.
He's really athletic. Yeah. And he's 24. That looks better for long term for us, especially with Ant.
Do you think you have to give up CJ to get someone like Aaron Gordon?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Do you though? Because Orlando kind of sucks dick.
They do suck dick. That's why I'm saying. That's why I'm kind of hinting Aaron Gordon. I'm like, yeah, they kind of suck, and Aaron Gordon hasn't changed anything for them. But that's just because they top to bottom, they're not very good.
Yeah, they're trash.
Yeah, and so maybe they will be willing to move on from Aaron Gordon for a couple picks or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
I think we'd have to get rid of someone that we probably shouldn't be getting rid of to get someone like Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, you know what player kind of dropped off the map a lot was
maybe we try to get Julius?
Michael Carter-Williams.
Yeah.
He was like, remember that one year he was just like balling and then
rookie year.
Yeah, and then he was like not very good since.
It's just like Brandon Jennings just had that really Tyreek Evans. They had a really good rookie year.
Markelle Fultz.
Yeah.
He was a weird guy.
He didn't even have a year.
Well, he had like a weird. It was just like a year where he looked good, and then he I think they said he got in like a car accident, and they didn't like disclose it for a while, and he had like nerve damage in his elbows and shit, and he like couldn't do anything.
Weird.
What a strange event.
Yeah, that Markelle Fultz thing is pretty bizarre.
Yeah, he's a weird guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or it's been a weird thing.
Even maybe someone like. From the New York Knicks, like a Julius Randle.
Dude, I would have loved to get Julius Randle. I made the argument to get Julius or Tobias. Those were the two guys that I really wanted.
Tobias would have been nice. He's obviously harder to get, more expensive.
Yeah, but for me, it was like Julius, he's done. Like, he's on a team.
He's solid.
He's a solid guy, and he talks so much shit. Yeah. And he has that, like, I don't know how else to describe it, but kind of like hood bully. Gangster bully kind of, like, thing that would be kind of similar to how Zach is. I mean, they have a little bit of a different style, but like
Zach is not hood, by the way.
No, but I mean, but like in terms of like their shit talking, their ruggedness, their ability to like get underneath people's skin, for sure. They play similar. Definitely. And play really good defense. He's really athletic. He's fast, quick, and he can get buckets. He gets buckets against the Blazers all fucking day. He had scored like 35 on us.
Plays for us.
Yeah, yeah.
50 points a game.
Yeah, I think he just would have been really good.
I gotta be careful.
Chair's gonna explode. All right, so who are the next? We're playing against San Antonio tonight. Rockets on Sunday. Yes. Pelicans on Tuesday, and then what do we have after Tuesday? I can't remember off the top of my head. Let me look. After Tuesday, I think we play again on Thursday. But we're on this
the Bucks.
The Bucks. That's gonna be rough on Thursday.
And there's two winnable. I mean, the Cavs have been playing really good, considering who they have. But then we have. I mean, there's some winnable games. We got.
We play the next time we play the Cavs are on Saturday, so we won't talk about the Cavs game. It won't have happened next week by the time we play. So it'll be Spurs tonight, Houston, then Pelicans, and then Bucks. Those will be the 4 games that we talk about next week.
A lot to unpack. Hopefully we get to see Carmelo's debut.
Yeah, in terms of games that we can definitely win tonight against the Spurs.
For sure.
I think we can definitely get the win against the Pelicans.
Oh, yeah.
So those 2 games, and then you have toss-ups with Houston and the Bucks. I think those are going to be tough games. Yeah. But Houston's been playing well, but Houston's always been one of those teams where it's like if you can somehow
score some points. You just got to outscore them.
You just have to. You could get the Houston like if you can make them shoot bad. Mm-hmm. Because they shoot a lot. So it's like if you can make it so they just don't hit their outside shots because that's what they're taking, close out on threes, you probably win that game.
Yeah.
Harden doesn't play defense.
Which is what we're struggling with right now, so that's kind of scary.
Yeah. But that's like if your game plan is just like, all right, guys, like just slow down, take out the 3-point shot, and we win this game because they don't do much other than that.
When it goes to matchups, I think we probably match up a little better with the Rockets as well.
Then other teams.
Yeah, especially with our big guys being out.
Yeah. I guess Houston only really has like Clint Capella.
Yeah,
that's it.
Really. They're more of a fast-paced team, but they're a little smaller.
Yeah, we have done really well against Russell Westbrook in the past, so we probably shouldn't. I don't really worry too much about Russell all that much anymore.
Yeah, the Bucks game is going to be that's going to be tough. We don't have anyone to guard Giannis.
Yeah, we never did. So
that one's going to be tough.
Yeah.
But, we could beat the Cavs. We'll get to the other ones when we
talk about it. So, well, thank you guys so much for listening, guys. JV Monday is tomorrow. Jesse is in Hawaii, so I hope he's having a good time. But we did record the episode early, so that's coming out.
Lucky.
Yeah, I know, right? It would be so nice. Let's see. Other than that, guys, we have another Survivor Breakdown on Thursday, and then our guest episode featuring Jordan Dardis will be on Friday. Much love to you guys. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you guys have any comments, questions, anything that you guys want to ask about the Blazers or in terms of format, let us know. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at Neighbor Podcast, and then Doug's Instagrams will be linked below.
Same.
Much love to you guys. We will talk to you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Peace.